Imagine pouring your entire life savings, every overtime hour, every skipped vacation, every tearful night after a divorce, into creating the perfect fairy tale wedding for your only child. $50,000 gone in a whirlwind of silk, flowers, and champagne dreams. And then, 8 days before the ceremony, you pick up the phone and cancel it all. The bride screams that you're a monster. Your son accuses you of destroying his future. Extended family brands you bitter and vindictive. Social media explodes with strangers calling you the worst mother in history. But what if I told you that the night before, in your own living room, the bride looked you in the eye with that perfect, practiced smile and said, "Karen, honestly, the greatest wedding gift you could give us is to just ... step aside. Let us build our life without you always being in the middle of it." And your son nodded along, not meeting your gaze. Would you still call me heartless, or would you understand why, for the first time in 30 years, I finally said no and meant it forever? My name is Karen Elizabeth Harper. I'm 62 years old now, but the story really starts when I was 38, the day my husband David packed his bags and left me with a 12-year-old boy and a mortgage I could barely afford alone. David's note was short: "I need to find myself." He found himself in Florida with a 25-year-old yoga instructor. He sent child support sporadically for a few years, then nothing. From that day forward, I became two people: the daytime Karen, efficient school administrator at Lincoln Elementary, smiling through parent-teacher conferences, and the nighttime Karen, hunched over spreadsheets as a freelance bookkeeper, fueled by coffee and determination. All of it for Brian. Brian was my light. Sensitive, artistic, with his father's blue eyes and my stubborn chin. He drew comics, played soccer, cried at sad movies. When David left, Brian crawled into my bed every night for months, whispering, "Are you okay, Mom?" I always said yes, even when I wasn't. I paid for braces, summer camps, the good sneakers. When he wanted guitar lessons, I found a way. College, full ride scholarship, plus my contributions for books and living expenses. Graduation gift, down payment on his first car. Brian graduated with a degree in graphic design, landed a decent job at a marketing firm, and at 27, he met Chloe Wilson. Chloe was everything I wished I'd been at her age: confident, stylish, with long auburn hair and a laugh that turned heads. She worked in event planning, organized, ambitious. Brian brought her home for Sunday dinner 6 months into dating, and she charmed me, immediately complimenting my lasagna, asking about my garden, hugging me goodbye like we'd known each other forever. When Brian called me from Maui to say he'd proposed with the ring I'd helped finance through a work bonus I gifted him, I cried happy tears. "This is it, Mom," he said. "She's the one." I believed him. The wedding talk started the day they got home. Chloe arrived at my house with color swatches, venue brochures, and that massive binder. "Karen, we don't want anything crazy," she said, eyes sparkling. "Just elegant, timeless. Garden ceremony, barn reception, live music, great food, around 50,000. 50,000. My heart stuttered. That was my entire nest egg, the money I'd scrimped for retirement, the buffer against loneliness in old age. But Brian looked at me with those pleading eyes, the same ones from childhood when he wanted a puppy. "Mom, it's our only wedding. Please, how do you say no to your only child's happiness?" I didn't, of course. "Sweetheart, we'll make it magical." And just like that, the checks began. Month 1, venue hunting. Chloe fell in love with Willow Creek Estate, outdoor garden, with a restored barn, string lights woven through ancient oaks. Deposit, $10,000. I wired it the same day. "Thank you, Karen. You're a lifesaver." Chloe texted with heart emoji. Month 2, the dress. Chloe tried on 30 gowns before finding the one, a Vera Wang with lace appliques and a cathedral train. $6,500. Alterations, another $800. I paid. Brian hugged me. "She looks like a princess, Mom." Month 3, bridesmaids. Chloe had 8. She didn't want them stressed about costs, so I covered dresses $300 each. Shoes, jewelry, $4,000 total. Month 4, Save the dates and invitations. Custom letterpress with gold foil. 2,200. Month 5. Photographer and videographer. Chloe wanted the cinematic package with drone shots and same-day edit. $9,000. By now I'd liquidated my emergency CD, but seeing their excitement made it worth it. Month 6. The band. Not a DJ, a 10-piece band with horns and a singer who sounded like Adele. $7,000. Plus, string quartet for ceremony. $2,500. Here came the first tiny comment. Chloe sighed over coffee. Most mills would push for a cheaper DJ, but you get it, Karen. Vision matters. I smiled. Mill. Mother-in-law. It felt official. Month 7. Flowers. Not simple bouquets as dripping with roses. Centerpieces taller than guests. Ba 10-month ba. Lighting and decor. Uplighting chandeliers. Custom neon Mr. and Mrs. Harper Wilson sign. $5,000. Month 9. Food and bar. Plated dinner. Late night taco truck. Premium open bar. $15,000. Rehearsal dinner somehow fell to me too. Lakeside restaurant. $5,000. Month 10. Extras trickled in. Fireworks for exit. $3,500 I paid after hesitation. Champagne tower. $1,200. Photo booth with props. $1,000. Month 11. Honeymoon contribution. They wanted Bora Bora. I gave $5,000 toward flights. Month 12. Final touches. Welcome bags for out-of-town guests. Favors. Transportation shuttles. Another $4,000. By month 13. The total was $68,000. I'd taken early 401k withdrawals with penalties. Sold some stocks. Maxed a credit card. I was exhausted, but the wedding was 2 months away. Almost there. The little digs increased. Chloe at brunch. You're so lucky, your house is paid off. Karen. It makes helping us so much easier. Brian laughing. Mom's our fairy godmother. But no one asked how I was sleeping, or if I was worried about retirement. I told myself it was wedding stress. It would pass. The final walkthrough at Willow Creek was supposed to be joyful. The garden bloomed with late summer roses. The barn glowed with test lights. The coordinator, Megan, walked us through Tamila's. Chloe snapped photos constantly. Then, in the barn, Chloe pulled up an Instagram reel. Hanging floral installations, clouds of baby's breath and roses suspended over the dance floor. These would be perfection, she breathed. Only $3,800 installed. Karen, what do you think? My stomach dropped. I was already $18,000 over what I'd planned, dipping into money I'd need for property taxes next year. Chloe, honey, I love the idea, but I'm truly at my limit. We've created something beautiful already. Let's enjoy it as is. Silence. Chloe's face, shifted smile gone, eyes narrowing. Karen, this is the biggest day of my life. Of our lives. You've been so generous, but pulling back now feels, I don't know, conditional. Brian shifted uncomfortably. Mom, ... I tried gentleness. It's not conditional. I've given everything I can, more than I should have, honestly. This is where it stops. Chloe's voice rose, echoing in the empty barn. If you really loved Brian, you wouldn't nickel and dime the final details. We've come this far because of you. Don't ruin it now out of spite. Spite. Brian finally spoke. Mom, it's Chloe's day. Just this once more. Her day. I felt the world tilt. All the sacrifices flashed. Lonely Christmases, working double shifts. Birthdays alone, while Brian partied with friends I paid to take him out. The ache of an empty nest I'd filled with giving. And now, I was spiteful for saying stop. Megan, the coordinator, cleared her throat awkwardly and stepped outside. I looked at Chloe, at the woman I'd welcomed, clothed, fed through this process, and said quietly, I've paid for every single thing, $68,000, and not once have I heard a genuine thank you that wasn't followed by another request. Chloe rolled her eyes, actually rolled them. We thank you constantly. God, Karen, why do you have to make this about you? Brian, Mom, let's talk later. Not here. That night, driving home, I replayed every moment. At home, I poured a glass of wine and sat in the dark. Chloe texted at 10:47 p.m., feeling really disappointed tonight. Was hoping you'd be excited for the final touches. This wedding is stressful enough, without added drama. Brian, at 11:02. Mom, Chloe's crying. Can you just apologize and transfer the money? Please, apologize for setting a boundary. At 1:30 a.m., something shifted inside minute rage, but clarity. Cold, sharp, liberating. I opened my laptop and compiled a spreadsheet. Every vendor, contract number, my signature as payer. At 3 a.m., I emailed my financial advisor. I may need to rebuild my retirement, starting tomorrow. I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, 7 days before the wedding, I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and started calling. First, Willow Creek Estate. Hi, this is Karen Harper, for the Harper Wilson wedding. As the contract holder and payer, I'm canceling the venue effective immediately. Please bill me for any fees. The manager was stunned. Mrs. Harper, are you certain? The barn is fully prepped. I'm certain. Next, the band, the florist, but the flowers arrive tomorrow. The photographer, we have a second shooter flying in. Lighting company, caterer, every single one. All contracts were in my name. Alon, Brian, and Chloe had insisted, saying, you're handling finances anyway. By 2 p.m., it was done. I turned off my phone and went for a long walk in the park near my house. The air smelled like impending autumn. I felt free. The storm hit at 4:15 p.m. My landline rang. Chloe, Karen. The venue just called and said the wedding is cancelled. What the hell did you do? Her voice was shrill, panicked. I cancelled the services I was paying for. You can't do that. We have 180 guests, flights booked, hotels. You can still get married, just not on my dime for a party that apparently doesn't include respecting me. Brian got on the line. Mom, this is psychotic. You're ruining everything over hanging flowers. No, Brian. I'm ending a pattern where my generosity is taken for granted and my boundaries ignored. You both told me to step back. I'm stepping all the way back. Chloe screaming in background. She's insane. Call her sister. Call someone. I hung up. Then came the barrage. Chloe's mother, Diane. Karen, whatever disagreement you have, think of the children. I'll pay to reinstate everything if you stop this nonsense. My sister Laura. Karen, he's your only son. Don't do something you'll regret. Brian's best friend, Mark, texted. Dude, your mom has lost it. Sorry, man. Chloe posted on Instagram a black and white photo of her ring hand over tear-stained cheeks. Heartbroken doesn't cover it. Family drama, threatening our special day. Praying for peace and understanding. 2,000 likes in hours. Comments, sending love. Some people are so toxic. Someone leaked details to Reddit. A thread in RMI. This whole exploded. AITA for canceling my son's $70,000 wedding after he and his fiancée disrespected me. Anonymized, but details matched. Thousands of comments calling me every name imaginable. I didn't respond. I packed a small bag and checked into the Marriott downtown quiet room. King bed, no memories. For 6 days, I was a ghost. Room service, books, long baths, walks around the city. I journaled everything, years of giving. The growing distance, the moment I realized my love had become an expectation, not a gift. On what would have been the wedding day, I got a massage, sat by the hotel pool reading a novel, ordered steak for dinner. They married at the courthouse. 12 people. Diane's backyard, potluck, afterward folding tables, Costco cake, Spotify playlist. Photos leaked online. Chloe in her Vera Wang, she'd bought it outright. Looking beautiful but strained. Brian in a rented tux, forcing smiles. I wasn't there. No one invited me. For 3 months, radio silence from Brian and Chloe. I used the time wisely, met with a financial planner, rebuilt my emergency fund, joined a book club, took watercolor classes, started dating myself, dinners, out alone, movies, a weekend trip to the coast. I felt guilty sometimes, late at night. Was I too harsh? Had I overreacted? Then I'd remember Chloe's eye roll, Brian's silence. It's Chloe's day. No, I hadn't. The knock came on a rainy October afternoon. Brian stood on my porch, soaked, holding a large envelope. He looked like he'd lost 15 pounds, cheeks, hollow eyes, shadowed. Mom, can we talk? I let him in. We sat at the same kitchen table. He didn't sit still, fidgeting, eyes everywhere but mine. Finally, we were wrong. Horribly, unforgivably wrong. He opened the envelope, cashier's check, $15,000. We refinanced my car, took a personal loan. It's a start toward paying you back. I stared at the check. Brian, Chloe's in therapy 3 times a week. I'm going twice. We're unpacking a lot. He told me everything. How Chloe grew up with wealthy but distant parents. Everything bought, nothing earned. How she'd learned love meant providing, not presents. How he'd enabled it because conflict terrified him, echoing his parents' divorce. How the cancelled wedding forced their first real fight to end, first real conversations. How guests asking what happened made them face the truth. They'd treated me like an ATM, with feelings they could ignore. Mom, I stood there while she spoke to you like that. I chose peace with her over respect for you. I'll never forgive